So I want you to check this out. The Rams, they start right there. And at this dealership, they go all the way down this way. And then they go all the way down this way. Actually, as far as you can see down there, full of Ram trucks. And from Ram, this is one of their cheapest four-door trucks. It's a 1500 and it's only two-wheel drive. And they're still wanting $54,000 for it. All right, so now we have a Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is not a luxury brand, this is a Jeep. This is a Grand Cherokee family SUV. $70,000. That's a problem. And they have a ton of them. This is a whole row of anywhere between $55,000 and $70,000 Jeep Grand Cherokees. This is the standard SUV from Jeep. And that is the price point. All right, so sales numbers are out and Jeep's sales are down over 20%. Uh-oh. And it's really not that much of a surprise. We've been to some Jeep dealers here lately. They are absolutely full of Jeeps. And really, the big problem is cost. I mean, they're trying to become a luxury brand and they're just Jeeps. That's what they are. They have SUVs. They have the Wranglers, which will demand higher prices because there is a massive following of Jeep Wranglers. But when they're trying to charge $70,000 for a mid-size family SUV, you know that there is a problem. So the Jeep dealership that we went to recently, we went and tried to find the cheapest brand new vehicle that we could find on their lot. You know what it is? It's a Compass. It's a small SUV. They don't have any cars. They've never had any cars. That's just Jeep. But it's a small four-door SUV. All right, so this is one of their cheaper offerings. It's a Jeep Compass, and it's still $40,000. This is one of the cheapest things that they have that they offer, and they're still wanting $40,000 for it. The average family to lower income family cannot afford to get into one of these vehicles for the monthly payments that they're going to have associated with this $40,000 Jeep Compass. So Jeep is trying to appeal to a higher income level of customer. And guess what? They're not going to go to Jeep for this kind of vehicle. Jeep has to get back to going to be able to offer some affordable SUVs if they want their sales to increase. And what Stellantis has said, which is just the mother company for Jeep, Dodge, Ram, is that they want to keep their prices higher. They know that they're going to be going into a time period where they're going to be selling less vehicles. People have less money, so they have to make more per car. And they're trying to price themselves along with some of the more luxury brands, your Lexus, your Acura, some of these higher tier brands of cars. And at the end of the day, a lot of times it's still a Jeep Cherokee. It's still these Jeep Compass that they're trying to sell. They don't have that kind of level of following yet for that type of customer. Now, they still have the Jeep Wranglers. Jeep Wranglers are going to command money. They're always going to do that. There's a huge following for those. But Jeep Cherokees are really not going to. So I think they're going to struggle in being able to attract this higher tier level of customer. And they're really, I think, hurting themselves because they're throwing out all of these mid-tier customers that used to be diehard Jeep fans, and now a $70,000, a $60,000, a $50,000 Jeep Cherokee, that's the cheapest ones that they can find, that they bought for years and years and years, now they can't afford that. And you know what? This is not going to be just a Jeep specific problem. Mazda has came out and said that they want to be more of a luxury brand. Toyota has come out and said that their average price is going to lean towards about $50,000 per unit. And you know what? In this environment, with the rates that we have, with the economy going downhill like it is, this is not going to work. And I think Jeep is just going to be the first of many to show these sales declines. We're going to see it in the future because this economy is not going to support these higher prices. People cannot afford to get into these SUVs, to get into these trucks that are just absolutely crazy prices right now. All right, and staying with Stellantis, we have Ram. Their sales for their trucks are down almost 7%. And we just get back to it. They're just too expensive. And from Ram, this is one of their cheapest four-door trucks. It's a 1500 and it's only two-wheel drive. And they're still wanting $54,000 for it. And I'm just giving you the MSRP. I'm not even talking about all the dealer add-ons that are going on top of that. So this is not about the actual dealership. This is about Ram, Jeep, Dodge, $53,000, cheapest truck they can find. All right, so we got a 2023 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4, and it is an MSRP of $71,000. So I want you to check this out. The Rams, they start right there. And at this dealership, they go all the way down this way, and then they go all the way down this way. Actually, as far as you can see down there, full of Ram trucks. And this Dodge, Ram, Jeep dealership that we've been to recently, we've seen some of their upper model Rams, the ones with the lifts, and they're trying to sell them for $90,000. And you know what? People just can't pay that right now. Okay, and now on the other side, we have Toyota. Toyota's sales are down 10%. But with Toyota's case, this is not a demand issue. What we have with Toyota is that we have a supply issue. And Toyota has come out and said that, yes, we're still having chip shortage issues. We're still having production issues. And we can't push these vehicles out to our dealers fast enough. And I've been to 4 or 5 Toyota dealers, and you know what? None of them really have inventory. All right, so just to show you a comparison, this is a Toyota lot that's right next door to the Jeep lot we just went to. And I really don't think it's an issue with the actual dealers, again, like I said, at the Jeep dealership, because like a lot of these cars that we're seeing are right around MSRP. I think the problem is with the actual makers. Now, the issue with Toyota right now is that they're still low on production. They're still claiming that there's a big chip shortage problem. They're not able to get cars out. But when they're able to get cars out, they're selling them. So, in just this case, it's not a problem with the dealer. And the reason I know that is because both of these dealers, both the Jeep dealer and the Toyota dealer, they're actually owned by the same franchise. So this Toyota dealer, they're selling cars. They're selling so many they can't keep them in stock because Toyota's not providing them with enough cars. But with the Jeep dealership over there, they're having a hard time selling stuff because what they have to sell them for is just so much, because Jeep is cranking up their MSRPs, and they're spending so much money to produce these cars to keep a higher budget vehicle to keep their margins up, that's why they're having struggles over there. So Toyota's doing good. They're selling cars. They're not producing enough of them. They're having supply chain issues still, and Jeep is not selling a whole lot because their prices are too high. I've been trying to find brand new RAV4s, brand new 4Runners, and they're just not out there. All right, we haven't seen a lot of these. We actually found some 4Runners. We found 3 of them at this dealership. They are still adding fees. No dealer market adjustments, which we think is odd because we haven't been able to find a whole lot of 4Runners. So we think they would be able to add the market adjustments. But what this 4Runner has is it's got a pinstripe for $299 and nitrogen for $199. But the total price is $46,000 for this 4Runner, and we haven't been able to find them. Last week I went to a Toyota dealership. I saw 3 4Runners, and that's the most that I've seen. In fact, that's the only 4Runners that I've seen in the last month and a half when I've been going to these Toyota dealerships on a weekly basis. And RAV4s, they're just not there. I can't find them. And a lot of these Toyota salesmen that I've been talking to is that they've been saying that whenever a customer comes in there and they want a RAV4, they've got to order it. They just don't hit the lot. Their allocations are just absolutely gone as soon as they get them in. If they have a truck coming in of new 4Runners, of new RAV4s, a lot of the times, most of the cases, they're already bought. As soon as they unload them off the truck, customers coming in and picking them up because they already had them on pre-order. So that's going to be Toyota's big issue going forward. Not sitting on demand. People still want to buy Toyotas, even though that money is scarce and interest rates are high. People are still wanting to buy Toyotas. So the reason that these dealers can't sell these Toyotas is not the actual demand side. It's because Toyota cannot get these vehicles to their dealerships. So Now, here is the good news for consumers. As we start seeing these dealers selling less vehicles, as we start seeing these sales numbers come out and they are lower than what these manufacturers expected, that's when you start seeing incentives rise. Jeep is now offering way more incentives than a lot of these other brands because they have to move more vehicles. So I was at a Jeep dealership this morning and talked to one of the sales reps, and he was actually saying that they have been selling a lot of their vehicles actually under invoice because they have to move them out to be able to keep their allocations to be able to get new vehicles in. Their GM did not want to lose their allocation, so they started pumping vehicles out. The only way that they could do it was by selling them at under invoice. And we're going to start seeing more and more dealers do this because the sales numbers are coming down. And this is great news for consumers because as you get one manufacturer like Jeep, the Jeep dealers, the Ram dealers, the Dodge dealers, as you see them start adding more incentives, you're going to have to see other manufacturers, other franchise dealers start adding incentives, start lowering their prices, because if you have one dealer lowering its prices and the other ones are still staying pat, then the consumers are going to be pushed to the manufacturers, to the dealers that are selling cheaper now as money gets tighter. So hopefully this is just a beginning of the trend. Jeep's going to be the first, and then you're going to see a lot of these other the lot of the other manufacturer sales actually coming down, and it's going to force these dealers to have to start pushing out inventory, meaning they're going to have to lower their prices, they're going to add some incentives, and it's only a good sign for the consumer. All right, so I'll give you guys a little behind the scenes footage here. My mom got me this cool wood burns thing from some of the 90s movies from the Ninja Turtles. If any of you have watched those, awesome. So that made the shelves, and I didn't want to take anything else off, so we had to put 2 shelves worth of Ninja Turtle stuff. And it's going to stay for the time being. So thanks, guys.